Okay guys, so in the last video I showed you how to get unlimited ideas for your next app, and then I said that I'm gonna build one right in front of your eyes. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, you can do it now, because that's exactly what I'm gonna start doing from today. And then I'm gonna show you how I get my app to the first users, how I execute different marketing channels, fully automated with Claude Code. So today is the day, and I will leave no stone unturned. And so the app I chose is both something I myself struggle with a lot, while it's also something that my research that I did in the last video got me as something worth building. So if we look at the screen, this is a recipes and meal planner called Recipe. Maybe some of you guys already have it in your phone because the downloads of this app is crazy. And in the last month, it did $2 million of revenue. And if we look at the screens of the app, it's there's a clear pain point that it's solving. So it's basically saving recipes from social media. So I'm sure that maybe some of you guys and me, myself, and a lot of people, we are scrolling through Instagram Reels or TikTok and we see so many recipes that we want to make, but then it's just dying in this saved folder graveyard, right? So what this app does is probably integrates with your Instagram or social media accounts where you can send the recipe straight to it. So it then stores all of them and it can make grocery lists based on those recipes. So it's just like all central database, and you don't just need to go through different reels and videos to just I don't know, make everything manually, right? Then it shows you the macros, you can adjust the recipes, and you can order groceries finally at the final point. Okay, so yeah, my problem is that I really never know what to cook. I do have a lot of recipes saved on my phone, and I do have a lot of recipes that I make from time to time that I really like, but also it's just I don't have a headspace for just to think about what to make or to make grocery shopping lists. It just takes so much time and energy, even though I like to cook, but I don't like all the process that comes until the actual cooking. Finding some recipe to cook for dinner and then going to grocery store to get a lot of stuff and then having so much spare food that I don't know what to do with anymore is definitely a problem. So this app is showing that there's a clear traction to it, so there's money flowing, and of course there is competition. Meal planning is not something new, it existed forever, but that's okay. I'm not worried about the competition yet. Okay, so even though I'm gonna partially copy this app, I want my app to be different in a way that my biggest struggle is not getting the recipes from my social media to somewhere else where I can actually execute them. But my problem is that even at this moment, I have a lot of food sitting in my fridge, sitting in my pantry. I don't know what to cook, and I want the recipes that I find online or whatever, I want them to be so smart to know what I actually have right now, and then it can prioritize those recipes that can already use the ingredients that I already have at my house. What I imagine is something like you open the app and you basically just tell it with your voice what you have in your fridge, what you have in your pantry, just like holding your phone in one hand and then just going through the stuff you have with another one. And finally, it will make me the whole meal plan, not from the social media, but it will have a library of viral recipes inside, and it will generate a meal plan based on my diet goals. So for example, maybe I want like something anti-inflammatory diet because now it's trending and I see so many articles about it. Number one reason of people living up to 100 in some parts of Italy or Greece. Maybe I want to build some muscle, so I want something high protein, but maybe I want to stay away a bit from a lot of red meat while doing it. So yeah, and at the end I want to have a meal plan that's based on my diet goals, while also it prioritizes the ingredients that I already have so we don't have a food waste, and then it gives me a full grocery list for the whole week, so I just need to shop once. And finally, I want the app, when I actually choose what to cook, I want it to give me a very clear step-by-step instructions, like something like an Instagram story. So I just click and it shows me the next step with a built-in timer if there's something that it need, like for example, if you need to boil an egg or cook pasta for like 6-7 minutes, whatever, 6-7. So there's a built-in timer, so I don't need to go to another app like iPhone timer or iPhone clock to know when the time is up. And that will just let me to really shut my mind off, so I will not need to go back to like a very long blog post website with the recipe where the recipe is to find the next step. Or I know a lot of people are just rewatching the same reel or the same TikTok video to find out what the next step is, because yeah, it's pretty annoying. So finally, the app is where you shop once, you use the ingredients you already have. It lets you stick to your diet goals easier while minimizing the waste, and you don't need to scroll along recipe website or watch the same TikTok video again and again to check the next step. So that's the whole goal for my app. It's gonna be a bit similar to this one, but not really. If you haven't watched my last video where I talk about the 5 main points I want my app idea to cover, we can really fast go through them. So the first one is I want there to be a proven traction. So you don't want to invent something. It's basically, I know that people are interested in recipes and meal planning still, even though it's crowded. It's fine. I want to make sure that there's money flowing, and then the only thing I need to do is to find new marketing angles, to find new app angles, or find the ways how to steal some users from them. So that's the first and the most important thing. The second one is, can I grow it with SEO? Because I can automate it, so it will just be free traffic and free conversions. And definitely, yes, I can definitely automate a lot of SEO with recipes website, and then I can just make recipes lists for example, top 10 recipes for someone who just moved into, who just started university, or top 20 high protein recipes for someone who's broke. So I will need to do some research on where the opportunities and gaps are, but I'm sure we can manage and execute that. The third one is, can I grow it organically with social media? This one I'm not so confident with, because I'm pretty sure that the recipes place is very crowded and I would need probably a real creator doing that. And if I just post like some carousels or whatever, I don't think it's gonna get a lot of traction, but that's fine. We don't need to cover all the points like ideally, but definitely what we can do later is partner with a lot of creators who are basically in recipes and cooking space. And the last 2 points is, can I build it fast, and if there is a clear pain point. So I think the pain point is there. I think a lot of people are struggling with the same thing as I am. We will find out, of course, later. And the last one is, can I build it very fast? And I think I can, because I don't see any. I don't really think there's any integrations that I will need to make. I don't want my app to have like online ordering features and all that. I want it to be pretty simple and minimalistic. Yeah, it's completely reliant on me and the code I write. It's nothing about no APIs, no integrations, no data flows that I will need to secure. So it should be very much okay. And now the most important thing why you came to this video is that preparation before you build anything, especially app, is crucial. So before building it, I want to make sure that I cover 4 things. And the first one is PRD, or product requirements document. This basically is going to be your compass throughout the whole process, and without this you will get lost very fast. The second one is the smallest possible version of the app that will have a closed loop. I will tell you what a closed loop is a bit later, but without this, you will not have an app that someone will actually use and then come back to again. The third one is brand book. Without it, your app will look poorly made and it will look unintentional and just AI slop. And the last thing I want to have before I touch any code is I want the smallest version of my app screen designs done, because without these, you will waste a lot of time. I'm just here to remind you that all these 4 things we will not do full ourselves. We will use Claude Code. So if you don't have this running, please watch this video right here. It's pretty short, so you can have whatever I'm gonna work with already set up in your computer, so you can just follow my lead and go through the whole process yourself as well. Okay, so let's start and let's talk about PRD, or product requirements document. So this one might sound super boring and maybe something corporate, but don't worry, because it's not really even made for us. It's for our Claude Code to always be able to get back to, so it doesn't start inventing stuff on the way, because the whole process of building something, it gets stretched out and it gets pretty long, and AI can really just forget of what the initial plan was. So it's basically just 1-page detailed document that answers from end to end, what am I building, for whom, and what does it actually do. That's it. You can look at it as like a contract between Claude Code and you. It's like, okay, we're building this and let's not lose ourselves on the way. That's exactly why you cannot skip it, because when you sit down with Claude Code or any other AI and just start prompting, you're describing the thing you want at first, but then you have tens of different screens, features. Some are working and some are not. Some naturally have connection between them, but some don't or lose them on the way. And then when you start talking about specific smaller things inside, like you want to fix this, you want to add that, that's exactly where things get invented and things get lost, and your app becomes 1% different every single message, and eventually you get a Frankenstein. Let me tell you that coming back from it, it's very, very painful. It's like a contract, and whatever you talk about with Claude from the beginning, later on, even close to the end, it will rely on this PRD document to make sure that nothing gets out of the way. Let's dive straight into Claude Code. Again, if you didn't see the video how to set it up, just go here, get it up and running in the next 10 minutes so you can just copy what I'm doing. Okay, so we get into anti-gravity first, and then we click open folder. We go to any folder you want. I'll just create a new one called recipes app. I'll click on open, and that's where I get myself. So now I'm waiting for this to load up. I click on Claude Code and I click on new session locally. So now with my PRD, I want to paste in this prompt, which is make a PRD for my app. Don't rush with it. Ask me questions to initially figure out what the app is about and to fill the gaps. Then make sure we get all the connections right and that all the possible user flows make sense. And then finally, do one more pressure test on it and find possible caveats and things we might need to decide on before we can finalize the document. So I'll save this for a bit later. Now what I want to do is, for any planning of sort, I want to choose Fable because it doesn't consume so many tokens, the planning itself, and because it's the most important part of the whole app building process. So now I'm gonna paste this in, and you can see that I'm not even telling anything about the app yet because I wanted to lead the process, okay? So it's easier for you. So I paste it in and we wait. Okay, so we can see now that it's asking me questions. So what is the core job of this recipes app? The one thing a user hires it for. I'll click on other. You can also, with your app, with your idea, you can just go ahead and answer the questions, but because I didn't tell it anything yet, it only knows that it's a recipes app because that's how I named the folder. So I'll click on other. I will give you more information separately. Click enter. Who is the primary target user? Everyday home cooks, busy planners, healthy goal. UK, we can decide later. What platform is this for? At least for V1. Let's build it for the web app first, and then we will move it to iOS. Web first, then move to iOS. Or no, let's do it straight in iOS. Or no, let's do it web app first and then move to iOS. How do you intend this app to make money? Freemium subscription, one-time purchase, free for now, not sure yet. It's definitely gonna be freemium. Yeah, so the information I want to give is, my problem is that I never know what to cook, and I don't want to just find some recipes, then go to get groceries to cook those, and finally have a lot of spare food that I have to think what to do with or throw it out, which I absolutely hate. So I want to make an app that plans your meals, but of course these things like you absolutely hate, blah blah, you don't need to add them. It's just from the script that I wrote before. So I want to make an app that plans your meals based on your goals like longevity, anti-inflammatory, high in protein, while also planning it around the food you already have. Yeah, seems okay. Let's just paste it in. Of course, we're getting a lot of approval from Claude, which usually happens. This is a sharp concept. The chain is coherent. Goals, pinch, river, plan. One shop, zero thought cooking, minimal waste. Most competitors do one or two links of that chain, not a closed loop. Now the gap filling round. The biggest open questions are about the mechanics that make or break this loop. How does the app know what food you already have? This is the highest friction point of the whole concept. How do you want pantry input to work in V1? Yeah, I want it to be by voice, by speech. Where do the recipes themselves come from? AI generated per plan, curated database, hybrid user imports. Yeah, I want it to be a curated database. What does a weekly plan actually cover? Dinners only, lunch plus dinner, all meals. User picks per week. Yeah, user picks per week, why not? Flexibility, life happens midweek, you eat out, skip it out, don't feel like Tuesday's meal, how should the plan respond? Yeah, so I want the plan not to be strict. The plan works for the whole week, it doesn't mean that the user has to bake a potato pie strictly for Tuesday's dinner. When it comes, when the dinner time comes, he can just choose of whatever was planned out for that week. Okay, so now we're getting even more questions, and that's the whole goal of the prompt that I initially gave to Claude and the model I chose. It's because all these questions are gonna make and unify a really nice PRD for us. Okay, how should diet goals work? You mentioned longevity, anti-inflammatory, high protein. What's the model? Okay, so one primary goal profile, pick one focus. The whole week is compounded around a simple, strong identity. Combinable goals. Pick 1-2 goals plus hard constraints. Allergies, dislikes, vegetarian. Goals shape recipe choice. Constraints filter it. Numeric targets. Freeform via AI. I think one primary goal profile is the best for now, at least. But also, I think we should put some dietary restrictions like vegetarian, vegan, etc. I think there should be a focus, but also a clear dietary restriction like vegan, vegetarian, etc. Let's not expand on this too much though, or I will delete this because we can minimize it a bit later. Okay, recipe database. A created recipe database is a real content operation. The planner needs enough recipes to fit any goal, X pantry, X meal type combination. Who builds it and how? AI drafted, you curate, you author them. License, import existing, creators later, seed now. We curate from the internet. Also, what is very important is, now when I think about it, is when it's gonna look at what I have in the fridge, I don't want it to have only ideal matches with the recipe. So for example, if there is like a soy glazed chicken with rice, but then imagine I don't have a sesame oil that the recipe states that there has to be a sesame oil. It doesn't break the whole recipe, right? I would still probably be pretty happy to use all my ingredients I have to make a soy glazed chicken without a sesame oil. So I will mention it now. Also, it is very important is that there is some flexibility with the ingredients. So maybe we can classify the ingredients as an absolute necessity, optional, etc. For example, imagine I don't have sesame oil, but the recipe says that we need sesame oil. And now the rest 12 ingredients I have are not worth the cooking. Let's try to avoid that. Yeah, so as you understand now, these kind of questions and this PRD, it will make you think a lot about like different scenarios and stuff, and it's amazing to have this figured out and to have this answered before you start building. The waste minimization promise has attention with the pool model. If you buy salmon and fresh spinach for the week but only pick those meals on day 6, they've gone bad. How should the app handle perishables? Soft freshness nudges, plan around shelf life, both, ignoring V1. Yeah, it's a good question. I think let's ignore it now because it's just the week, so I don't think a lot of food goes bad in like the first 4 or 5 days. Who is the app cooking for? How should servings and leftovers work? Household size setting, household plus intentional leftovers, solo first, per recipe choice. Yeah, I think household plus intentional leftovers is good. Okay, more questions. How does the loop close after shopping and cooking? And how does the pantry stay current? Auto update from actions, checking off the grocery list adds items to the pantry, cooking a meal deducts its ingredients. Speech input is only for the initial load and corrections. Weekly speech refresh, both, no pantry state. Yeah, I think this is gonna have to be like trial and error. I really do think that we should pick either first or second one. Checking off the grocery list, adds item to the pantry. Yeah, I think this looks fine. Of course, it's gonna be a bit demanding from the user perspective, but let's see. In story mode cooking, what should one story step contain? And how do you advance with messy hands? Text plus photo per step. Built-in timers, voice control, video snippets. One instruction, big type of visual, the relevant ingredient amounts for the step. Yeah, I do want a built-in timer for sure. And text plus photo. Think mostly text with a built-in timer where needed. Where's the freemium line? What do the free users get versus paying subscribers? Free taste, paid loop. Free limited plans, one plan week with few recipes or one time trial week. Planning paid intelligence. Trial then hard paywall. Let's do 14 days free and then yearly subscription. Reality check on the web first. Speech input and the phone in the kitchen cook me a very mobile experiences. What does web app mean here? Mobile first PWA, a web app designed for the phone browser, installable, works in the kitchen. Desktop works, but phone is the design target. Smooth path to iOS later. Responsive both. Plan and shop comfortable on desktop. Cook made designed for phone. Desktop first. Web equal prototype only. Web exists to validate the planner logic with early users. Design everything for iOS from day one. Yeah, so for this one, let's do mobile first PWA, just because it's gonna be a bit easier to test it out. Honestly, I never tried it before. I usually just code straight into the iPhone, but it's something I always wanted to try. Okay, new questions. At plan review, flow to how much control does the user get before the grocery list is locked? Swap per meal, which is recommended. Each proposed meal can be swapped for an alternative. Also, goal/pantry. Matched or removed. List regenerates unconfirmed. Control without overwhelm. Accept or regenerate. Take the plan as is or reroll the whole week. Simplest. Risks users disliking one meal and rerolling forever. Full browse and build. The proposal is starting point, but users can browse the whole recipe database and hand build a week. Most control, most UI. Swap per meal, I think looks nice. When someone cooks double for intentional leftovers, what happens to the leftover in the app? Leftover joins the pool. Cooking with make extra creates a leftover chicken curry entry in the week's pool. Eating it marks it done. The plan counts it as one of the week's meals. Planner assumes, app ignores. I think leftovers is a good idea. Just one time less cooking. Off plan. Can users cook outside the plan? Browse the full recipe database and cook anything anytime. Browse plus cook anything recommended. Full database browsable with goal pantry filters. Cooking off plan works in the still deluxe pantry. Plan is the default path, not a cage. Yeah, I think it's good. When does the 14-day trial clock start and what's gated before and after? Cart free trial, wall after. Cart up front. First plan starts clock, hard wall, everything. I think it should be a free trial with Apple. So it automatically renews the subscription if not cancelled. Okay, we come back with more questions, and if you think there's like a lot of questions, you can keep in mind that each question that you answer here is gonna save you lots and lots of days of confusion and just taking the wrong paths. Okay, let's get on with them. So payments, the platform payments conflict. Apple trials don't exist on web. What's the monetization path? Web free beta, pay on iOS, Stripe on web now, skip web, go iOS first. Yeah, okay, makes sense. Yeah, let's skip web, go straight to iPhone, it's fine. D3, where do recipe visuals come from given photos can't be scraped? Text first, AI hero image. One AI generated finished dish image per recipe for browsing plan cards. Yeah, let's generate one image per recipe with AI. That sounds okay. How does the pantry track quantities? Course levels. Items tracked as plenty, some running low out. Cooking steps, an item down. Running low items reappear on the next grocery list. Robust to speech input and never blocks on unit math. Presence only. Yeah, I think let's. I'm not too sure because I kind of want to maybe make presence only because it's simpler. I don't know if I want to make it so complicated. For example, I imagine, okay, I have sugar, and if it's on running low, then it reappears on the next grocery list. Have it or don't, simple as possible. Planner can't tell if one egg means frittata for 4 is viable. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, yeah, let's do course levels. When the 14-day trial ends without payment, what happens? Soft lock, new plan generation plus speech input lock, already planned meals stay cookable. Yeah, that sounds okay. Okay, so now it's built as the artifact. If you don't know what the artifact is, it's basically the Claude's way to show you what it's done straight on the website. So we can see it right here when we click open now. Okay, so I guess that's the whole PRD. So pantry first meal planner, one-liner. They'll tell the app what's in your fridge and what your health goals are. It plans your week's meals around both, writes one grocery list, and then walks you through each recipe like Instagram stories. So you shop once, waste nothing, and never think about what to cook. Problem: home cooks face 4 compounding frustrations that existing apps solve only one at a time. Decision fatigue, I never know what to cook, recurs daily. Wasteful shopping, finding recipes first and shopping for them second. Ignores the food already at home, producing leftover ingredients that rot or get thrown out. Goal drift. Eating toward the goal requires willpower at exactly the moment you're tired and hungry. And the last one, unusable recipe formats. Recipe websites bury steps under essays and ads. TikTok videos must be rewatched and rescrubbed for every step. Recipe app solve. The last one, meal planner solve the first one. Neither plans around what you already own, and diet apps address third one through tracking rather than planning. No mainstream product closes the full loop. Target user. Working persona. Explicitly not targeting. Deliberately not finalized. Yeah, I think it's okay. I don't think we need to target the actual user now. Product principles. The pantry is the hub. Every flow reads from and writes to the pantry. If the pantry is wrong, the product is wrong. So every user action keeps it current automatically. The week is a pool, not a calendar. Plans propose what to cook this week, never when. At dinner time, the user picks whatever fits the moment. No replanning guilt, no rigid schedule. Missing one ingredient never kills the recipe. Ingredients are classified, essential, optional, and substitutable. So the planner and cook mode degrade gracefully. Shut your mind off. Planning takes minutes once a week. Cooking requires zero reading comprehension, speech in, stories out. Seems okay. User flows, onboarding, weekly planning, shopping, cooking, drift correction, week rollover. Seems pretty good. The only thing I'm a bit worried about is what if the pantry is not up to date? But I think also that's something that the user has to only kind of do weekly. So they get a meal plan, they get a groceries list, they shop for it, they mark it in the app knows what he bought because it generated the list. And then after the week ends, they can just say whatever is left after the whole week. Yeah, that seems okay. Let's go back to Claude. Where we landed. The product, a pantry first meal planner. Speak your fridge contents into the app. It plans the week's blah, 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 blah. The pressure test changed 2 big things. Web got cut and exact quantities got rejected. The pantry tracks course levels. So speech parsing and deduction never break on Unimap. Other resolved decisions I generated. Hero image per recipe with verbiage and step text. Soft lock after the trial. Trial starts only. Natural next steps whenever you're ready. Name the app, then drive the recipe schema. Plus goal tag, criteria, doc, then the build roadmap. Yeah, seems okay. We'll do that later. Yeah, that's fine. I think that's completely enough for whatever you want to have in your product requirements document. So now you just keep this. We will use it for whatever next we're gonna do. So we are done with PRD, and that's the best first step of building whatever you want. In this case, we're building an iPhone app. Make sure to not skip this step. It doesn't take so much time, but it's gonna save you weeks. Okay, and now let's talk about the smallest closed loop version of your app. This is kind of so simple, but it completely changed everything for me. Basically, your job is to now come up with or define the smallest possible version of the app that still works as a closed loop. It's not an MVP. Everyone says MVP and then builds 10 or 12 features. I mean, what's the one loop this app has to complete to be a real product? And a loop is something that starts, does its job, and comes back around so the user returns to the initial app state without the slightest chance of getting confused or clicking something that doesn't work or doesn't have a clear purpose. Because here's the trap: when someone starts vibe coding at first and then asks AI to build them an app, you will quickly get something that looks like it might be working. You get excited because so many things are popping out, but you realize that you cannot use it because there are too many things that were not thought out well enough, and now there's no harmony between the features and the screens and everything you have. So in my case, even when I have the PRD that we prepared now, it won't magically make the whole app that is going to have a good finished UX because there's just too many things. Okay, so there are a couple of ways to do it. The best one, of course, is because you already have a PRD and you have the whole product laid out, you can just ask Claude to tell you 5 different versions of your app that work as a closed loop. I already have an idea in my head for my app, and I can tell you what it is. So what I wanted to have is I wanted to be super minimalistic and super simple. You open the app, you can record with your voice what you already have at your home, and then you get the recipes that you can make right now based on the food you have. That's it. And why? Because now I will be sure that I don't need to add anything else for the app to give some value. There will be no way for you to get somewhere and maybe get confused. Okay, how do I put more sugar than I had now? Like, how do I make sure that like I have enough eggs for this recipe? How do I make sure that this particular meal plan is gonna follow the dietary plan and dietary goals that I set from the beginning? How do I change my dietary goals? Like, there's so many things that you can do and so many things you need to think of. That's exactly when you get your user confused even a little bit, that's when it breaks. That's when they don't come back. So I need to figure out what is something that's gonna give some value without any chance of anyone getting confused or getting somewhere where like I didn't think through. Also, it will let me to make sure that even those smallest things, even though they're very important, like I want the speech recognition, I want logging of your pantry and fridge work super smoothly. I want the recipes to open super smoothly. I want everything to look good and look nice. That will let me to make sure that all the details, the initial details, are done well, because I don't need to build a whole skyscraper from the beginning. That's what a closed loop is. When you have a PRD, you can easily nail it with Claude Code. Just come back to it and ask it to give you like 5 or 6 different scenarios of how the app could look like, that it would have a very clear value, it being the smallest, the most minimalistic version possible. That's it. Okay, let's talk about the brand book. So whatever project you're working on, before you write a single line of code, a brand book is gonna be mainly your colors, your fonts, your logo, and the overall vibe. And you want it all decided up front and written down. And look, I'm not a designer. That's why we will do it, of course, with Claude Code and other tools. 2 main reasons why this matters way more than you might think. And number 1 is that it's exactly what makes your app feel real and intentional, instead of standard AI slop that people can already sense. Because the difference between the app that looks premium and one that looks like a template or something that AI makes by default is never the code, is whether the colors and typography are consistent and intentional. And 2 is that because when you hand Claude Code or your designer a set of brand tokens that are written down, then every screen comes out consistent automatically, and it comes out faster because it doesn't need to invent something and think twice about doing something. Without it, it has to invent something every time, and all the screens come out different shades of blue and look like 5 different people built it. So let's go ahead and let's make a brand book from scratch. I will lead you through the whole process of my thinking process and everything. Okay, so a few things I want you to open is, first one is claude.ai/design. This is where we're gonna do most of our brand book. And then what I want you to have is I want you to have your anti-gravity open with your MVP and PRD files here. So MVP is the most minimalistic and the smallest version of your app. MVP we will need more for the last step, but still let's have it open here. And then let's go to styles. I'll add styles here. Styles.referrer.design. I really like this project a lot because it's basically a lot of different apps and websites in one place, and it already has the design tokens basically scraped. So it all comes down to this design MD file that your Claude Code can really understand and read out. So you can really just copy or get inspired by a lot of different popular and less popular projects. And then the app I was looking at for inspiration from the beginning was this app called Resemi. So I have their website open to kind of understand what vibe they're going for. Your goal is basically to give Claude Design your information about your project. So that's what we have here, and then a lot of different styles and references for the vibe you're going for. Then if I go to Pinterest, I can put in recipes app. That's also a very good place to look for inspiration. So we will open a few photos, and we will see, and we will try to figure out what is the vibe that we're going for. Okay, This looks okay. Okay, let's see what we have. I think this is pretty nice. Looks modern. Maybe not so funky, but pretty modern. Looks more like a maybe restaurant ordering app. This, maybe I like a bit more. Then we have this. I'm not sure. A bit, maybe looks a bit too simple for us. No, definitely not. This is pretty good. It looks good for the morning and I like all the colors and what. So I'll copy image here. I'll paste it here. I can also copy this one. This one I'm not sure. Also, don't rush this process because it's pretty important. It's gonna set you up for success. So that's why I'm not gonna rush it either. Okay, let's see. I want to take screenshots of this as well. I'll just do it like this. And then I'm also gonna go to here. And I'm gonna take a screenshot of this. And then also I'll click on this with my two fingers and I'll click reveal on Finder, and I'm gonna put in both of these files as well. Then I'm gonna get a quick stroll through here to make sure that maybe I find something I like. Okay, maybe recipe. Oh, I like this vibe, I think. I think this is pretty good for us. We can have this as one reference. Let's go back to Pinterest for 1 second. iPhone app cooking. Yeah, I think this is the jackpot. Also, keep in mind, it's not about how your app looks like. It's not about the UX. It's just about the feed, the fonts, the colors, the whole vibe. That's all. So you don't have to find like apps identical to what you want to build. And the more examples and the more variants we give to Claude Design, then it's just gonna spend less time and it's gonna give you less of this standard default AI slop that everyone else will be doing. Whoever's gonna put like, I want to make a brand book for my app, recipes app, they're gonna get the same thing. But because of your, I really like the Apple Notes wipe with emojis and these things as well. I think we definitely can include that. Okay, this I hate it. This is okay, I think. This one is a bit crowded, but I like the fonts and just it's pretty clean if it wasn't so crowded. Okay, this is gonna be interesting. Now what I'm gonna say, I want you to make a brand book for my iPhone app. You will find information in PRD file, then the minimalistic version of it in MVP. It's not very important for it to know, but let's just say that there is. And then a lot of screens and examples of other similar apps just for inspiration and some angles and moods and vibes we can take, but don't feel obliged to stick to them. So there's not set rules of how many examples and how much information you give. You can view as what I gave to it as a bare minimum, and then you can just expand your search and whatever you want. I'm not trying to make my brand book perfect here for the sake of the video. I'm just kind of getting you through my thinking and thought process behind it. Yeah, let's just blast it and see where it takes us. Okay, so now it came back to us with questions. So it wants to know the app name. How closely should it follow the palette reference in DesignMD? Yeah, so because I gave one DesignMD file from the that website styles referral, it might have caught up that DesignMD file is something that we have to like look at very closely, even though it doesn't hold any priority towards in between anything I gave to it. So I have to specify that. So I'll keep this not answer now. So app name, you can think of something, we don't have it yet. Then this I'm not gonna answer now. Brand book format, scrollable brand site, printable doc slide deck. Scrollable brand site I'll choose. Which chapters matter? Positioning and brand story. Naming rationale, logo and app. You know what? Let's click on everything. Which screens should I render in brand? MVP only, pantry confirm patches. MVP only. Pantry confirm matches recipe for screens. Imagery lane for recipes. Botanical line art as a connective tissue. Warm natural light for photography. Look for hero images. Organic color blobs, abstract shapes only. I think it's okay. Yeah, let's do this. Brand voice, pick 2, 3 that fit. Common, reassuring, brand efficient, warm and encouraging. Yeah, I don't like these directions. Let's say, okay, playful, inherent. Okay. Who reads this brand book? Just me, a design agency I'm hiring. Yeah, because it basically asks who's the person, but because the Claude Code is gonna be coding it, you can look at it as an engineer. And then because we're gonna do design of it, also it's gonna be a designer. Okay, so I'm not gonna choose a design system. I'm gonna keep this unanswered as well for now, and I'm clicking on send answer. And I'm gonna write here that design MD file doesn't have any priority over anything else I gave you, like screenshots. It's just one of the examples like all others. Okay, so after waiting a bit, we can see our brand book is done, and let me tell you, not happy from the first glance. Not very happy about the result. I can see that it kind of relied on his old tricks. So immediately, if I notice this cream background and these pills, this kind of editorial feeling, I'll definitely push back. So as I said, I don't want to make it this perfect, so I don't want this to be like a very long video. But what I'm gonna tell it is, okay, from the screens I sent, there was definitely not that much of a cream background. Also, I don't like these pills. Looks crowded and poorly made, and overall editorial. And I don't like overall editorial feeling. So let's make few other directions, please. And maybe because we want to test out few different variations let's sustain from building the whole brand book to save us time. We will build the full thing once we agree on that direction. And let's click send. I'll just choose Fable 5. Maybe it's gonna help. Let's click send. Okay, so we've got 3 new directions. First one, it called it native com. You can see looks a bit more like Apple native. The second one I don't even want to look at, it looks terrible. But also it's as a direction it might be okay, just needs to change from these icons, give out this kind of AI slopish vibe. I like the emoji. Overall I like the emojis. And the third one is kind of cool, maybe a bit too aggressive. So let's try to play with version A, but introduce emojis. Try to make, I want to see at those examples now I gave it to. Make it look more closer to Apple notes like here. So remove the gray color in general, make it tidier, remove the quantities of the ingredients. Yeah, okay, it's a bit tough now because this looks really a lot like Apple native. And let's try to have some fonts that are pretty close to Apple native, but also not exactly the same. Yeah, so as you can see, this is a bit back and forth. It's a bit creative process. Usually it should take at least 10 longer prompts to get to somewhere where you would like. So it takes a bit of time, but it pretty much decides the whole app, more or less. So it's worth it. Also, I'm not sure about the orange color, if I like it. Let's look at those examples again. Yeah, I like the font they use. I might want to steal it actually. The colors as well. I like the pastel colors. This is pretty good. I might switch to emojis. Yeah, this is exactly approximately what I want. Okay. Looks a bit similar actually. And for the colors, let's try a bit more pastel colors, not something that would scream as much. Tried to make everything a bit smaller and less crowded as in these examples here. Also, what I really don't like is these bold fonts. Of course, we will design the screens themselves later. Now it's just about more like a brand. It's almost there. I just want to figure out the colors, and in general I want to make everything a bit less crowded. It's gonna help us. Okay, but it's getting there. Okay, so now I kind of like what I see. I like the colors. I like it's clean. It's something that I feel like I want to touch and just like kind of try to make this collapse and see how it looks like. It looks well made, it looks well thought out. I like the very tiny editorial headlines, and then everything else. Ideally, probably I would make these fonts even a bit smaller than they are now, but also what I absolutely hate is this part here. So this is the voice recording button. Looks hideous, but it's fine. We're gonna change it because that's not even what our app is gonna look like when I'm gonna make the first screens, because it's gonna be even simpler. But that's the whole vibe and direction. You want the vibe, and now when you look at this, you kind of get the vibe, right? It's just kind of, it gives you this warm, a bit playful, very minimalistic. You kind of know that it's gonna be probably pretty easy to use and it's not gonna be demanding. So that's exactly what I want. So let's finish here and let's say, okay, now this is what I like. So we can recreate the whole brand book now, but now try to also change this hideous speech input button. It looks terrible. The icon, the colors, the color combo, it doesn't align with the rest now. So try to give it another go while you're in the brand book. Okay, let's click enter. Oh, okay, it's still working. Yeah, this looks nice. I like it really. I like the colors. I like these pastel colors together. It looks really nice. It looks tasty, cute. Okay, let's paste this in, and I think that's gonna be it for the brand book, and we're gonna have it done and nice. Keep in mind, again, that's not the screens that I want to start with. It's just so I understand what feeling it gives me, how it overall will kind of look like, the direction, the angle, whatever you want to call it, that's what it should give. Okay, so we can see that we've got a completely revamped brand book, and I can tell you straight away that this is not gonna be the logo and this is not gonna be the name, but that is fine because that's not really what I'm trying to solve, and that's not really what I'm looking for here. This really doesn't look like doesn't give this cooking app vibe, but what I'm actually looking for and what I'm working on and what I want to get is here. So as you can see, this looks nice. It looks intentional. It doesn't give this feeling that something's been vibe coded, and it looks trustworthy. It looks like it's gonna work well. It looks minimalistic, and the most importantly, as I said, it looks intentional, and that has to be your mantra when you're trying to build something or trying to make a design, because the design is really what the user sees, and it really what kind of makes the user project what you're gonna get. And when I asked it to redo the microphone thingy, now it looks way better. It also gives you the few states of it, so like on standby and while it's listening, and then while it's thinking. It's pretty cool. I'm completely happy with overall what we got here. This step-by-step recipe cooking screen I hate, but that's fine because that's not really what we're trying to build here. Yeah, I think based on the prompts, amount of prompts we gave and the time we spent, we achieved something pretty great. I'm really happy with the result, to be honest. That's really it with the brand book. That's as far as you want to take it initially, I think. Of course, you can play around with it, but for this video, that's gonna be it. So see you in the next ones because there's so much I want to show you. So make sure that you have subscribed if you don't want to miss the next videos. And yeah, and now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna design our first couple of screens based on our minimalistic version of the app from end to end, so we know that whoever is gonna open it, they would be able to use it and get some value from it, and they wouldn't be lost. So that's what we're gonna do. So now I'm not gonna go anywhere else. I'm gonna stay here and I'm gonna tell it, can we now design the first screens based on the mvp.md file that I gave before, remember? So when the user opens, there is only the speech recognition, then it catches the ingredients, and then it gives the recipes to cook. And when you click on any recipe that you want to cook, it shows step by step, but not on this story like thingy, but just expands below the recipe with a very clear step by step. That's it. Okay, so we can see that it's done with the screen designs, and I don't like most of it. I think it did a very poor job, but we can fix it. Couple of things I don't like straight away. So these two screens are okay because they basically came from the initial angles and directions we took, and that's what we liked about it. But these and this is pretty bad. The first thing I want to tell it, drop the logo for now. Also, what I don't like about this is that you open the app, then it's like, tell me what's in your kitchen. Then you click on it and then it switches to here. So this whole voice thingy goes down. It just looks like a lot of jumping, you know. This is all centered and this is at the top. This is in the middle. This goes down. Also, now the first screen and the second screen look completely separate and poorly done. We need the first screen to just change state to the second state. Try to keep the vibe from the third and fourth screens and make one connected first screen. It might sound a bit complicated, but it's only because I really don't have better words for it now. Okay, we can try this, but then finally what I also don't like is I don't like this border here. Like, why the hell is it even there? Lastly, on the fifth screen, I don't know what the border is for when we use the drop down, and you use part looks cramped and not well placed as well. Okay, I'm thinking I really want to one-shot this whole fix now, so I'm thinking if I didn't miss anything. Keep in mind the screens are really stretched out now, but it's fine because I really think it did that only just so I can see everything, because you cannot really scroll in here. Yeah, and with the first screen, the most important part is that you think this through well. It should look alive, nice, well controlled, show the states, how the text appear, the animations, motion, everything. This is very, very important. And that's exactly what I meant when I said that we need to design the most minimalistic version of it and we need to make it perfect. So because I'm really limited in the work I'm doing, I minimize my scope so much that now I can really make sure that whatever I'm gonna do, the speech recognition, any pills, any text, any buttons, I can make it perfect. The initial stuff that you make is perfect and it's well thought out. You set a very good and clear path for the rest. So it's just the overall quality and look and feel of your app is just gonna increase tremendously. And that's exactly what's gonna show later on. Let's try this. I really hope I'm gonna one-shot it now. Let's see how it goes. Okay, and now you can see it's completely a different picture. So as you can see, you can ask it to make the whole like animation, make it alive, make it all with like motion design, and that's what it did. So we can see it in action, and that's exactly all the states that I want to see. Now it's one connected screen, so it's not like every element is out of the place, and that's what I mean when I say the connection between the screens, between the features. And when we limit ourselves to this tiny scope, it's much easier to understand and execute right. The only thing I still don't like is that it really limited itself here to this border, so it really just tried to align everything with the text, but I really think it should align everything with the emoji here, so it should use the fuller bit. So I'm gonna tell it to do that. you limit yourself with the width and it looks bad. You should expand the width and align it with the emoji icon, not with the recipe name. And I think that's it. I think that's the last prompt we're gonna write to have the fully designed initial state of our app. Yeah, I think that's it. Of course, it could be, this part could be still a bit better. You know, let's try to perfect it actually, this one last screen. Take a look at it one last time and try to make this cleaner, especially the timing pills, the ingredient list, the overall spacings and line breaks, etc. Looks a bit out of place and cramped on the beat. Now, because the prompt is a bit broad, but I really think that it should solve it by itself, because it's not rocket science to just do some formatting and just making everything a bit cleaner, especially with the text. But because it's broader, it's gonna think a bit more and it's gonna be a bit slower. That's how it works. But I'm pretty sure that's gonna be it, and that's gonna be the end. Okay, and if we look at it now, I think it's pretty nailed. I could still find some things I would want to nitpick here and there with the text, but I enjoy what I see, and I think that's the app I would actually use. So that's where I'm gonna cut it. I think we have everything we need to start building the app, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do in the next videos. So make sure that you subscribe if you didn't yet. It's been pretty long. I hope it wasn't too long for you. I'll try to still go out today, enjoy some sun while I still can. It's 4 p.m. here, but yeah, I'm very happy with the process, and I honestly really enjoy showing you guys the full thought process behind all this. And I really hope that you like it. Please leave the comments. Please tell me, give me some feedback. That's gonna help me greatly to keep going, to adjust myself here and there wherever I need. If you have any requests, anything specific you want to see, please leave it below. We have a community where we go deeper and more broad about all these things, and we have a lot more content inside there. So I'll leave it down below as well. Please make sure to check it out. And that's it. Yeah, see you in the next one, and bye.